All right, people, we are here, Talk of the Town, episode 14.
And we back.
What up? First live stream. And guess what? We got a crowd of people here today. So our wonderful intern, Deli, everybody point to Deli, give her some shine.
Hi.
This is her brain baby. So she told us we got to get moving with the millennials, and that's exactly what we are doing. So once a month, we're going to try to do a show with millennials in our community, talk to them about where their mind is at, what's going on in their worlds, because they matter too, and we recognize that they are the leaders, and when we're old and in retirement homes, you guys got us. So.
Definitely need somebody to take care of me some days, so we got to show the love and get love back.
Let's introduce our guests. So first, Ricky, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, my name's Rick or Ricky, either or. People have been getting that confused.
What's your preference?
You can call me either, really.
Okay.
If you know me by Ricky, that's fine. But I'm a senior at Seattle University, graduating.
That's you?
Yeah, graduating in 2 months now.
Red hot.
So that's a little bit scary.
That's exciting.
But I'm studying public policy and philosophy. I also write music on the side, so.
Hey,
I feel like that's a good
and
bio.
play the guitar.
And play the guitar. Yes.
Don't forget that.
And sing a little bit too.
He sings a lot.
We have plans for Ricky and his singing voice, but we'll talk about that later. Tanai?
Hello, I'm Tanai, and I'm an actor and a rapper, and I go to school, and I like people and interacting with people and learning about people. I feel like relationships and knowing how to deal with people and knowing where they come from is kind of the base part of moving forward. So when I talk with people,
Absolutely.
It's that's what I mean, the interest. There's a lot within people that we need to acknowledge.
And you're not an alien, right?
No.
No, okay.
We don't think so.
I'm actually just here to study. You're doing a research
I'm just here to
project.
study people.
Right. For sure, relationships
That's
are
what's up.
everything. DJ
Definitely.
Deli, you got the mic.
Hi,
She's not in the
everyone.
background today.
Yeah, I'm Delcine, but you can call me Deli. That's a nickname that some friends in Essence and Bradley say.
Yeah.
I'm the intern for the Talk of the Town podcast. I'm usually doing the behind the scenes footage, so you don't usually hear me or see me. So this is a first for me. But I'm a third year communication media major with a specialization in comm studies and a minor in Spanish. So I have one more year. I don't get to graduate until next year.
No worries.
But yeah, I've been doing this with Essence and Bradley for a bit now, and it's been great. So it's fun to actually be on the show now.
Yeah,
Ready
we
to
appreciate
set the
you
world on fire.
every week.
Doing our thing.
Yes.
And then we have Warren.
Yep, my name is Warren. I'm a freshman at Green River College. I'm majoring in journalism. I've been kind of finding my balance between that and a communications type thing going on, communications media, like you said. And I do theater. I act. I write sometimes. So I just love the arts and I love everything about it. So
Yes.
Yeah.
I love all the communications. You guys are deep in my heart. Communications twice over 2 degrees. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining us for our first Moving with Millennials show. We're trying to get moving with y'all, so you gotta let us know where to go. Tell us the direction. So I wanted to start. We have a word of the day, and what we do is we challenge all of our guests to use the word of the day within context throughout the show. And then at the end of the show, whoever used it and was able to use it within context correctly, we have a little prize for, all right? So today, the word of the day is cathexis. I know it sounds a little funny, but it means investment of mental and emotional energy in a person, object, or idea. So I thought that word was very fitting, seeing as how we talk a lot about being very selective and intentional about where your energy goes, and kind of speaks to what you were saying tonight about people and just getting to know people and being aware of the type of people who are in your circles and around you. So cathexis, investment of mental and emotional energy in a person, object, or idea. Okay? So it's an act.
So when I'm thinking about investing in Bitcoin, it's the cathexis.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a cathexis
It's kind of like an
Bitcoin.
idea,
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually an object at this point.
Okay,
yeah.
Bradley, I see you starting.
I'm trying to get there.
You're trying to get that prize.
That's one.
You got it. All right, so we start the show by talking about some current events, and I know before the show we were talking a little bit about creative geniuses, aka Kanye West. I know you had to hear that J. Cole's new album broke some records.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, who heard it?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Okay.
A couple
Off
times.
the bat, did you buy it? Were you one of those?
I didn't buy it. I just
Okay.
listened to it on Spotify a couple times.
So you were one of the
So,
streamers. Spotify was actually one of the places where he had 4.2 million streams, which is major. He's so low key.
Yeah.
Kind of like we were talking a little bit about Missy Elliot and how she just pops up with new projects all the time. He's kind of like, I didn't know it was coming. I guess if you follow him on, social media.
Totally.
And that's the
He's a
thing.
beast.
But you agree? It's fire?
It's fire.
Yeah,
It's fire?
good.
Okay.
Fire.
The hardest song on there is actually my birth year.
Oh,
1985.
Oh, the
Oh,
last
it's
song.
so filthy.
I
yeah.
That was my favorite too.
All amazing.
That was
people were
Yes.
born in 19.
yeah.
Just saying. Wait, what do we have as far as Zodiac signs in here?
Scorpio.
Scorpio, yeah.
Scorpio.
Aquarius. I thought my moon, sun, and rising was Aquarius, but I was like proven to be wrong, so I was acting like that. Like it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, and I was very disappointed.
You're
when
like, I
realized.
want this. Are you late
Buddy.
January or early February?
I'm late January.
Okay, January what?
22nd.
Okay, I'm January too.
Nice.
Wait, you are?
I'm a Taurus. I just had my birthday a couple days ago.
What day?
April 20th.
Nice. Happy birthday. Ha ha. That's what's up.
We got some good
420.
signs in here. Deli. I'm a birthday.
Nice.
So,
I have some of my best relationships with Virgos. My grandmother was a Virgo, and wifey is actually one too. Yeah.
yeah.
Probably
my
why we
husband is a
click so
Taurus.
well. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
My husband's birthday was a few days ago.
Oh,
He's a
Yep.
Taurus.
Yep.
My mom. And
Shout
my
out to
best-
Nick. Happy
Shout out
birthday,
to
baby.
Nick.
We see you.
He's almost over the hill. Almost. But you wouldn't be able to tell. He looks like he's 22, which is the goal in life.
Definitely.
You always look like you're in your 20s.
Black don't crack.
Yeah, my mom, my best friend are Scorpio. So Scorpio, obviously.
Yes.
Riley's been in my corner for like 15, 16 years.
Definitely.
Nice. Good to know. I'd like to fill out the vibe in the room, see what it's talking about. So we talked a little bit about Starbucks. We know millennials love some Starbucks. How are
I
you guys?
don't, actually.
Oh, you don't? Are you
it's
just not a
overrated.
coffee drinker, or are you?
Yeah, I'm more of a tea person too. So,
Okay,
Yeah, I like
me too.
tea better. Coffee's
So
kind of
relaxing.
bitter.
Yeah, I was about to say.
They do.
But
have
I think
tea.
it's over expensive and overrated. Like,
That's
it's-
fair.
I know that
Yeah.
Starbucks is originated in Seattle,
Seattle thing.
but it's just I don't see the hype of it.
Yeah.
Don't come after me. I'm old fashioned. I just
I feel like people outside of Seattle like Starbucks way more, I've
Yeah.
realized.
Yeah.
It's weird for me to think so much about Starbucks when I'm out with like friends from California or something, or like on the East Coast. They're like, why are you thinking so much about Starbucks? Just go in and get a coffee. And I'm like, yeah, I should just go in and get a coffee.
Yeah. I also feel like, in Seattle, people are always, this is known for the place that doesn't sleep.
Always
Like if
moving,
you're always moving
always moving.
forward, then you think to be in Seattle, be a part of Seattle, moving like everyone else. If you find yourself and you're not from Seattle,
right.
you're trying to, then of course you're going to look to what's all around, which is a Starbucks, which is on every corner, like right next to each other. It's just weird.
It is. Yeah, and in California, it's Pete. I was freaked out by
Okay.
how Pete's Coffee
Yeah.
is on every corner in San Francisco, in San Diego. It was absurd
Yeah.
to be in a place where Starbucks was not on every corner.
Peach just bought Stumptown like a year ago too, so they're kind of like creeping up. I feel like maybe. Yeah.
Starbucks, watch out. So what do you guys think about the racial bias event that took place with Starbucks? Do you guys have thoughts about that? The two young black men who were in Starbucks.
It's not surprising. I mean, Starbucks, we can say that it's a Seattle thing, but it's also very much associated with like young women that are, it's not me saying this, but like a lot of people get their Starbucks and they'll take pictures of it and they'll say #white girl, got my white girl fix.
Oh,
Or whatever. So
I
people
never
know
heard
that it's
that.
closely
I don't know where
associated with that. And if so many,
Interesting.
if their huge clientele is white women, then you should know that there's going to be some kind of conflict here, Because, a lot of friends that I know around my age, it's unfortunate, but they don't know how to interact around black people. And I was saying to Warren the other day, it's so weird when these people have been living next door to you their whole life, and they don't know how to And it's just like, how can you be surrounded by these people all the time and you don't know? It's because you're trying to.
Yeah, it's a choice. People
Yeah,
have to be intentional about creating a relationship and getting to know people.
So, like, knowing how, you know, especially how I've been treated, and I don't know, Warren, if you've been treated this way around, I'm not trying to come down on them, but young, beautiful, like, you know, all about certain things that are, you know, popular, you know. A lot of the photos that I've seen is just kind of like a shot, you know, and then it's the eyebrows done, and then it's just the whole package kind of thing. And it's just so many times, these are usually the kind of, it's not just white girls, but it's just girls that have this certain kind of interest, because there are a few certain type of things that you can be interested in, that if you're not interested in one of those things, then you're not even, why even like try to show your face around here? So this is just a big thing, like a big chunk, that if you know what what you're targeting, and you know that they have this standard that they have to follow to be in,
so
very much opposite of blackness.
So with those guys coming in, because when I think of Starbucks, also not only young folks coming in and what you described, but also business folks and people with their laptop, maybe in a suit or a tie, and they're doing business deals. Yeah. So they look like they weren't doing a business deal in that sense, or the package that you might think of. So you think that might have played a role into it as well?
I think
that culture?
I think, honestly, that is a lie. I don't think that people need to come to coffee shop to have a business deal. You know what I mean? So for someone to just say, like, to assume, like, well, they don't seem to have, you know, some kind of transaction thing going on here, so why are they here? Just like, you don't need to be thinking that as a coworker, as someone who's working in the business. You can be like, hey, can I help you with something? Honestly, when I'm trained, it's you figure out things by good customer service. You don't just not and just assume. That's wrong. That's disrespectful, and Starbucks should have been able to train them better on that kind of thing. And if they know that a lot of their clientele is going to be this certain thing, then they need to be able to teach the people that are working for them how to deal with these people. And the environment that will definitely be in that business. They know the business, and they know which areas they're in. So I just feel like for anyone to just be like, oh, I didn't know, or oh, I thought this, it's so obvious in the face what's the issue here, and it's racism.
And it's beyond Starbucks too. Like, I saw something where there were black women who were playing golf, and they got the cops called on them because they were playing golf too slow. And it's this idea that, like, whiteness has a monopoly over all these places, and like, as soon as you try
don't belong here.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I've been on a golf course before, and people have gone slow, and I've wanted to call the cops on them.
But
so
I mean, like,
I wouldn't just say it's about color when it comes to that, but no, definitely golf courses are full
the cops of
golf
courses. You know, it's this idea that whiteness is a monopoly in these certain spaces. You see it in grocery stores too. How come when black people leave grocery stores, they have to carry a receipt with them? How come they have to feel like they have to do that? It's because whiteness has been a monopoly in all of these spaces, and we've been made not to feel comfortable in them. We've been told that we're not people who belong in those spaces, even though they're things that, like, as simple as golfing or getting coffee or going to the grocery store, whiteness has a monopoly over those spaces.
But don't you think racism is a cathexis? I mean, it's
I like that.
it's definitely an idea that people have invested in, and the social construction of it has fostered ideas, a huge cathexis amongst the nation.
Riley's trying to tally up.
No, it's just, you know, when it comes to racism, I have a hard time swallowing that pill, because I know it was created to separate people and also gain capital, right? And so I get, like, really charged up when I talk about it, because I'm like, man, when I hear people and they're like, identify with it, I'm like, man, you are identifying with the cathexis that was put into place to separate us.
You about to win this prize.
you know, and I mean, if you go back however long you need to go back in humanity to realize that that wasn't a part of it until capital came into play, then I'm like, with the arguments, where should you lie? And I like to play more so the median and the beneficiary. Because, well, it's the beneficiary, the median is the third-party beneficiary, right? So it's the tertius gautin is the term, and it's he who profits off of two parties fighting. Whether it be black or white, male or female or whatever, there's a cathexis for somebody to gain money based off of two parties fighting. And so when instances like this happen or any other, And we know that race is the structure and what those folks, whoever it was that participated in whatever, when racism was prevalent, is like, man, that person swallowed the pill of the idea.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so when I see an individual operating in that sense, I'm like, man, let me just talk to you real quick.
That's good. It's a teachable moment.
Yeah.
You have to take advantage of those
Definitely.
moments.
But it's also, if you get out into the streets and you march or whatever else against that, I mean, when you're out marching, you get hungry, right? And you buy stuff from those systems that pay the system of who created it. And it's just, I appreciate fight and will and just everything that people do for equality. But when it comes to like getting behind the, let me fight you because you're black or you're white or you're male and you're female, I'm like, man, this person is missing the point. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Yeah. You know, I was also thinking really quick,
Yeah.
you guys are just bringing up some stuff that just made this really more clear to me. So maybe I can clear up my point. So you know how I was saying, you know, hashtag white girl, got my white girl fix. So Starbucks is kind of like you saying, even like business, you know.
Sure.
It's just kind of like, it can be seen as a very white thing. And I know that seeing black people in a white space can be very scary to white people, especially thinking of all the way back to, you know, history, going back for a very, 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 very long time. You just see that so low, you know, and then now you just see them like right here, and it's just, okay, you know, you don't want to give any more leeway. Not that you did, like, not that, you know, most people did, like, it was hard. But even if you know about Hillary Banks, actually recently, you know, Hillary Banks,
Fresh Prince.
yeah, her
Prince,
last
yeah.
name's Parsons or something. She has the BlackBerry thing where she's passing on stories. So she has this whole movement where she's passing on influential stories because she felt when she was younger, you know, these influential stories that got people motivated is how these slaves were able to move out of wherever they, you know, were able to move forward. So she thought, okay, well, I think that these small stories like this black Olympian who won a few golden medals at one time, she was like, okay, well, I think that this little story, I want to pass it to these young people, and she feels that that's strong enough.
What is the
help
program?
rise.
It's Blackberry.
Blackberry Foundation. It could, I know it's Blackberry in it, or Sweet Blackberry is actually what it's called.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And so it's just coming from so much with like not that much given to you into a huge business, you know, that you see around, and you're like working there and you feel like you're part of this big thing, and then you see like a black person sitting there not even ordering anything. It can really bring something up, you know what I mean? So I feel like I see where they're coming from. I see where, but it's, you know, it's just unfortunate.
That doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, it's
Right.
easy.
Yeah.
It's easy also to, once you are aware of how that person is operating with when it comes to race, then it's easy to pull out and be like, look, man, that person obviously has sucked that pill or drank the Kool-Aid, however you want to say it, and that's, we're going to identify that and speak about it. Also, it happened in Philly where Meek Mill just sat behind bars for quite some time, and he's home, baby. Meek, we happy to have you back. Please release something and hope prison reform. Just want to put that out there.
Seems like he's really kind of taking in what happened and wanting to make some progress in that arena. Like I seen a tweet from him, and he was acknowledging the criminal justice system in Philly, and acknowledging also that I know that this is not the same criminal justice system that everyone is dealing with. So I really appreciate that they honored this system.
Right.
So,
yeah.
good stuff. Good stuff.
Definitely.
So just a little behind the scenes. Tanai is so passionate about Starbucks because she actually worked for Starbucks.
Yeah.
And so she's got some behind the scenes thoughts and knows a little bit about the process and the procedure that goes into the training. So wanted to give a little context to that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, did you want to hear it?
Yeah.
The training was really bad.
Oh,
it's unfortunate,
great to
but
hear.
it was, you know, before the holiday season, and we needed to get training done, and I wasn't even being like trained like correctly. And then later on, I find out like months later after working, yeah, you weren't trained correctly. We're gonna have someone. I'm just okay. So I got this job, and the hours are extended. And honestly, it's just really unfortunate. The hours were extended to like 9:30 instead of 7:30. And I was working by myself from like 5:30. And then I had this huge rush of people coming. And then I had to clean and close and then take out all the garbage. And I didn't get that much training. And then I got complaints from people. And it's like, I wasn't trained all the way. And I have been working jobs. And I was really going over the top for these people. And I was doing the best I could. And I was hearing complaints. And I'm like, what the heck? And then I'm always closing. I'm like, what the heck? And I try not to think about the fact that I'm the only black person in this area just getting treated this way. Like, I try not to have this, but then later on, you know, it's just the way that the customers felt like I needed to give them, I did give them everything, and still that wasn't enough for them, was really kind of like, and you felt the need to come back to the manager and tell them that I was doing poorly when you know I'm going over the top for you.
Did it feel like privilege?
It felt really unfortunate. I don't know. I try not to fault anyone for the way, I don't know. I can only speak on because I don't know what these people are thinking. I don't know what they're used to. I don't know this or that. But I know that for me, I am a black young person who needed a job, who was working harder than they needed to, working shifts that I didn't always have to work. And honestly, working for Starbucks, I would not recommend people to. I've had this other friend, I don't mean to go too far, but she's like so beautiful and she loves it, you know? We was totally,
had a different
she was like, people
experience.
bring me food. She's like, customers bring me food. I'm like, what? People remember my name. I was like, what? She got a way different Starbucks experience than me.
Yeah.
So it's just definitely for me, like as a black, super gay, like it's so obvious that I was gay. And it just, honestly, as for me, I know that in that Starbucks area, it just was not.
It wasn't for you.
I would not recommend that for anyone.
Well, hopefully
feeling
this
right-
training that's coming up can make a dent in what that experience feels like and looks like for people of color. Because Starbucks is too large of a corporation for people to have that experience. My thought is that that's unacceptable for such a large corporation to have poor training.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be super effective though, because that's how exploitation works. Like I was talking about this in the tech industry with my aunt. We were like, how come there are studies done that show the back of the tech industry are immigrants and people of color, but when you look at the people at the very top, it's mostly like men. And you could look at Starbucks too, it's a white man at top. How are you going to expect this white man to be completely honest, who has no stake in racism? He's perpetuating it, but he has no stake or nothing in it necessarily for him to learn, at least that he sees. How are you going to expect him to be invested in training, invested in the de-exploitation of workers of color, invested in sort of just, the breaking down of capitalism when he's in that system itself, when that system is self-corrective, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
That system is made to exploit people of color and to tell them, no, this is just how the business works. I've been in service industries too, and it's very similar where they're like, oh yeah, no, you're just new here, but then it gets 2 years along and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm not still new here. You've hired other people too.
Right.
Well, I must still get the last shift of everybody, you know? And why does my boss not look like me too? How do I get there? I can't get there in this system.
It's hard to fathom that.
Yeah.
But that's systematic. That's not just Starbucks. It's not just, I'm sure, whatever tech company. This system was created for a white man to succeed. Totally. And so I know in the nonprofit world, I've worked in the nonprofit world for over a decade. Nonprofits are working to turn that inside out, but I also know that nonprofits have a lot more freedom than these corporations have when money is at stake.
Yeah.
It goes back to that capital that controls everything.
Another cool thing I saw too, also not to just be like the system is messed up, but Seattle people of color Facebook posted this list that was 47 coffee businesses owned by people of color. So I know I tried to look at that list and be like, okay, I know Starbucks isn't going to do anything, but these are actual business models of people that look like me that I can sort of invest in through what I purchase. And coffee's going to taste the same everywhere, so why don't I just go to these businesses instead?
For sure.
So that's what I try and do, at least turn out the system.
Yeah.
Got to make those personal choices.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing that kind of stood out to me to this whole story was basically the fact is that they didn't even inform them that they were going to call the police about it. They just asked them if they wanted anything, and they said they didn't, and they just went straight to calling for the police. And what I was reading, I just heard they're trained to do that, and if they're being trained to do that, that's a huge problem. And I think that goes beyond Starbucks. Even at my job, I've had situations where the managers and the supervisors were so quick to be like, oh, call security, call the cops. If that's your first instinct when you see the black person just just
sitting,
just
living,
sitting, then that's basically an investment into the idea of racism. And then I think it's a whole convection when you see the manager trying to come up with these things saying, oh, we're going to shut down this for like this and this amount of hours, and when in reality it's not really going to do anything if you don't understand.
Right.
Because if there's like 10 people in a room, right, and you got the business owner who's a white person, you have 9 black people in that room. No matter what I'm telling you, you have the power to change it. And if you can't understand that problem, then what's the point?
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. But it takes people like you and you who are aware of what's happening and can articulate that to speak up about it and to say, you know, the white male who was in the video, whoever took the video when the police were coming into the Starbucks in Philly, he was speaking up. He said, what did they do? They didn't do anything. I was standing here. I didn't see them do anything. And no one could answer his question. And so those are the type of people, those are the situations where accountability is at the forefront, where you're holding people accountable for their actions, holding people accountable for their words, and saying, I'm physically present. I don't see this. I don't hear this. Work with me. Talk to me and tell me what it is that you experienced that I didn't. Because those are the conversations I think that kind of push and shift the change. So kudos to you guys for being advocates in the community. So, Deli, I want to hear a little bit about your event coming up. I want you to tell the people. Deli's doing some big work with the New York Times.
Well, I am hosting a viewing party that basically shows the Get With the Times live series. It's a social justice initiative made by the New York Times in talking about just important social justice issues such as women's rights, gender inequity and inequality, raising LGBTQ awareness, etc. So for this month's episode, the guest for the show is going to be Samira Wiley. She plays Pusey Washington. From,
You gotta
from
come.
Orange is the
Thursday.
Orange is the New Black. So it's going to be live streamed on Facebook, and they basically filmed the episodes in New York. So that's why like the event itself is pretty early in the day, just because of the time difference. But yeah, the event coordinator for SU, so they reached out to multiple student representatives around the country to host viewing parties just so that they can advance their audience and also get people to join in on the national conversation.
Yes, so tell people the who, what, when, where again. Thursday, what time?
This Thursday, April 26th at 4:30. We're going to be starting the stream right at 5. I give a buffer time of 30 minutes because I run on POC time, so I understand that that's a thing.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
So just to give everyone enough time to get here. It's going to be on campus in the Bannon building, so it's the
Seattle University.
Science building, Seattle University. Bannon. There's a sign next to the building, so you just got to look for it. And it's on the 4th floor, room 401.
Hey, good
Nice.
stuff. So yeah, I want to give you guys each an opportunity to talk about what you're doing. I know we talked a little bit about society and culture, but I want to talk about you all, the Millennials. So Warren, you're also an actor.
Yes.
Tell us what that has looked like and what you want it to look like moving forward.
What it's looked like to me is this lots of time, lots of effort, and just lots of giving myself into something, another personality set is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And just putting my all into it and thinking, just reading in between the lines of everything that somebody says. I've been doing it since high school. For me, I've been in 5 productions. I just got off doing a production at my college called Mary Stewart. And so that's what it is. It's a great time investment for me. And I really want to put more time into it.
Cathexis?
Yeah. Great
Oh.
Yeah. There's that.
Whose point is
I'll
that?
give you one or two.
Yeah.
Nice.
And what it has looked like for me, sometimes it could feel lonely, oftentimes I'm one of a couple, or maybe just in other situations, the only person of color in there. And I've had experiences with my other castmates and things like that where I feel like they don't know how to talk to me, or they talk to me in a certain thing. They're nice and they're cool people. It's just at the end of the day, if you're talking to me different than other people, coming at me with specific hand signals and saying, yo, things like that. Like, why are you talking to me like that?
Are you able to stop them and say, hey, I noticed that you do this to me and not to anyone else? Can you help me understand what that's about? Have you ever had that conversation?
Yeah, I've had it before. I've had the N-word conversation with some cast members, but yeah.
Meaning they were using that word freely or used it towards you?
Using that word freely.
Yeah,
Really.
that's
And they're just not understanding the context.
absolutely.
Of it.
I'm so happy that you guys have these conversations.
Yeah.
I used to work as an education specialist for Treehouse, the same position that Bradley is in right now, serving middle and high school students. And I would be in schools and hear people who are not of color use that. Now, just to be clear, I don't think it's okay for people of color to use that term.
Yeah.
It just has too much sitting in it, living in it.
So much.
Right. But it's even more frustrating when you know that people are not appreciating that history and not acknowledging it in the use of it. Like I've heard people say, well, it's just slang. It's just what kids say nowadays. But it's such a relief to hear you say that because it's too much history for people just to use as like a nickname or slang. That's unacceptable to me, but I would come across as like Mama Bear if I was like, don't you say that in the hallway to some kids that are not mine.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of history, today Seattle actually celebrates the 50th anniversary of the Black Panther Party Seattle chapter.
Oh, I seen that celebration.
Yeah,
Winston
definitely.
is having a big festival tomorrow. There are going to be some really dope speakers and everything. There's going to be like a student activist speaker. There's going to be a panel with people who in the chapter of the Seattle Black Panther Party. So you should definitely check it out. It's all day tomorrow.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Definitely.
All
But that's
kinds of
a
fun events.
that's a tough conversation to have with your peers, I would imagine, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like right before a show too, and that's like the wildest part.
You had to get yourself back in the headspace.
Yeah. Just finding that understanding of what it means and just crossing that line of what it means to cross that line and what it means to be and why you can't say it or maybe why I shouldn't say it as well.
That seems to be the hardest thing. Like, why can you say it and I can't? Or
Yeah.
the hardest thing for people to understand. It's like, what?
Yeah. So,
You're not me.
Yeah. So just finding that understanding is the hardest part, but it's something I'm willing to forward to. So.
Very
You always notice how how Black people have been made to feel bad every time they open their mouths to try to tell someone about how they feel about something, and then they're quickly silenced. You know what I mean? So a lot of Black people, which is unfortunate. Like from what I've seen in my area, which is mainly white people, is if somebody's saying it, you need to just be quiet or you're the loud Black person. You know what I mean? But the people who aren't Black are so quick to speak on it. They're so comfortable. They can just throw it and be like, well, why can't... But then think about how comfortable this person is and how this person who feels the weight of that. So I feel like that's really amazing that you can have that conversation.
I would charge you to speak up in those moments because you are probably one of the only people who is feeling that weight. And so no one else can speak to that in the room, which is why probably other people speak so freely because they're like, I don't care. This doesn't mean anything to me.
They need to be put in check.
Yeah.
You know
For
what I mean?
sure.
Yeah.
And I could say that I've actually experienced the opposite. I mean, Bradley and I, in cultural competency trainings, have experienced the opposite where the Black people and the people of color are carrying the whole conversation. And it's, you want your white counterparts to speak up.
Yeah.
Tell us how you experienced this so that we can actually have a conversation, interact, and grow together rather than it just being, I know this. I experience this every day. What do you think? What are your thoughts? How do you feel? So
Exactly.
it could go both ways.
Shout out to Dr. Joy Hardiman from Evergreen State College. She gave me my voice for those circles. Out at Evergreen, I was a lot of the times the only student of color in classrooms, and conversation would flow around me rather than with me about me. And so one day after class, she pulled me to the side and said, hey, a lot of people have come before you for you to be where you're at that look like you. So I'm going to need you to speak up in respect to them. So I'm just saying this to you, I'm getting goosebumps as I always do when I talk about Joy and in that moment. Tap into those spirits because I'm sure your heart beats like hell when that is happening. And that's them telling you, I'm in the room with you. We got your back. Don't worry. Speak up. Because if you don't, then it just stays the same. And we are faced with all those folks that have invested in the cathexis of racism and the structure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so always tap in to those higher powers and those spirits that tell you this isn't right. so I need to say something.
What was that we said in Black History Month? I think the phrase was walk like you have 3,000 ancestors walking behind you.
Yep.
So walk proud, keep your head up, stand up tall, and carry that burden that all of our ancestors were fighting and losing their lives for, which I think you guys are doing a great job.
Yes, definitely.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Definitely.
So, Ricky, tell us about your life as a musician, as a singer.
Definitely. I've actually sort of put that in the backseat right now because I feel like it was one of those things that I was doing because I was really comfortable with it, and I grew up around a lot of songwriters, but the music that I listened to was never necessarily that music. But basically, so I'll get back to that later. What I'm doing right now, though, I'm working for the Office of Arts and Culture, and I'm doing communication stuff, and it's really dope because it's a lot of queer artists of color. And when you're in a room with that many queer artists of color, you realize that there's actually a lot of us out there, and that it's not actually, oh, there aren't any black people, or oh, there aren't any black gay people. We exist, and we're right in this room, we're doing our thing. So what I usually do there is just try and make sure that artists of color, women of color are represented in the grant processes, especially in fine arts, because fine arts is typically white space, like I guess a monopoly, like we were saying, on a white space, and we've been taught that we're not allowed there, but oftentimes I feel like we have the most interesting stories to tell. We've been telling the same story for the past 100, 200 years. I think we can afford to switch it up now. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing with that. In terms of music, though, the past couple of years, I was at Mopop, and they have this really dope program called The Residency. And I was interning there, I think, a couple years ago and a year ago. And I just got to be around a lot of rappers at that time. And I was like, wait, hold on. Can y'all show me how to make a beat? Because I've been wanting to do this for a while. And I don't know. I've been doing this songwriter stuff for a while, but I'm not really liking that. And I'm trying to do this. This is what I listen to. Can y'all teach me? So I've been working more on beat production and everything, and I feel like as a musician, as a guitar player as well, it's made me better because I have to get on the piano and learn chords that way and learn music theory that way. I have to also learn about rhythm and all of that, and I don't know, people say that beat making isn't an art, but I feel like it's the most I've been challenged as an artist.
You gotta tune into all your senses at the same time.
Yeah. But that's just what I've been up to. I've been hoping to sort of continue on that path, but we'll see.
All around creative. Yeah. And how long have you been playing the guitar?
I've been doing that for 8 years. I still do it. I talk like I don't do it, but I still do it just because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, it's like a part of you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I do research on all my guests on the show. Your sister also plays guitar, right?
Yeah, she does. Well, how'd you find that out?
You guys are both in communication.
I was like, what are you about to find
All good journalists know about their guests. So it was in the household.
Yeah,
it was like a household
definitely.
Thing.
Because it was weird. I got my start in a church group, and the person who played guitar in the church was like, yeah, I can teach you guitar for free, which was perfect.
Nice.
So she just taught me and my sister, basically, and we kind of came up together doing that. But
okay. Yeah. Very cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that you kind of found your niche, what you want to focus on. And
definitely.
Be making some beats and selling them to artists soon, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to do music industry
in the next 2 years. Nice. Does that mean that you'll be moving to LA? That's like all artists.
I want to move to the East Coast because I have most of my family
New York
over there.
Equally as fruitful.
Most of my family's in Philly, which is why I want to move to New York. Part of the reason too, because I feel like I don't get to see them as often, and I kind of want to be close to them. But also, there's a lot of stuff over there too. So I think I'm gonna end up probably moving over there. But we'll see. I don't want to promise anything because I feel like people put expectations on you, and I kind of want to be able to do my thing and not have people on me. But that's my plan right now, but if I'm going to change my mind, I'm just going to change my mind, and you'll have to let it happen.
Yeah. That's fair.
Definitely.
So April is National Poetry Month, and we haven't had the opportunity to honor that as I would have liked to, being a poet and a spoken word artist myself. So today we have Tanai, who is an artist. We have Delcine, who has a little something she wants to share. One of you guys ready to go?
I mean, I can do some
Tanai,
poetry
stay
real
ready.
quick.
All right, tell us what you got for the people.
All right, I'm just gonna do something that I actually performed at this Kaleidoscope Culture show. It was basically a show about bringing something different, and I thought that I could bring my music and talk about some issues that bother me, and especially in hip-hop, there's not a lot of people rappers speaking openly about their gayness, and it's hard to move around in that space, especially knowing how they will react
Right.
You know, and the way, in the language even in hip hop, which, you know, so I thought, you know what, I feel like hip hop is meant for way more. It can be done, obviously used to accomplish so many things, and I feel like this is a part of my culture. I feel like I have the right to go into it. So
Right.
So I wanted to.
You definitely do.
Yeah. So
It is your right.
It is
your right.
That I put in a package that I thought. I feel like sometimes people turn off their ears to stuff, and I thought that maybe I could kind of rap it in a way that sounds nice to the ear. So
Give it to us.
yeah. And this is gonna be a cappella, and I'm just gonna do the.
Maybe Ricky could provide a beat.
Catch
that beat,
I don't
Ricky.
beatbox, but
Okay. No, we got you.
Okay.
She is going through all of her music and
All
poetry.
the bars.
It's a long list. She's out here.
All right. Gotcha.
Talk that. Talk
You
that.
ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Look me in my eyes. Can you tell me why everyone looks so scared of me? Why they lock their doors and they stare at me? Is the way I walk too lazy? Did I smile at you too sweetly? Am I wearing my skin too freely? Is the thought of me so frightening that you can't sit beside me?
Bars.
Damn. And I'm like, what the heck? I really want to be myself, just like everybody else. If you need the pain that swells. If you need the pain that I promise you it hurts like hell. Did you hear? Yep, another one said. Next channel, different year, same story. Nappy head at it, coming, it's blurry. Oh, the cop, he's a hero, real glory. Winter change up, it happens every Thursday. And people do what they do, and they don't care about you unless you're living like me, and that distraction finds you. Why be racist? Can't you see that this is wrong? I'm a person with a heart, that's all I know. Homophobic, don't you know you're not the one? Nobody wants you but your cat or but your mom. Can you see me? Do you feel me? Then why do I feel so empty? 3 bullet holes, I'm leaking. I'm not a target, sir, I'm breathing. I don't mean to be so preachy, but damn, this should be so easy. Cops sleazy, no reason can deceive the message we're needing. Indecency smearing the words no one's reading. Believe me, I know I'm not dreaming. Please listen, the tension. I know what I'm feeling. You're woke now, oh really? You look like you're sleeping. Oh, man. And they say you need to chill. I don't care how you feel. We need your filthy guilt. You kill, they kill, we kill. You know your role fulfilled. We set the rights and bills. Get in line or hit the fields. Oh, heck, now stop that nonsense. We people have a conscience. We deserve way more options. I don't give a dang if it causes you a conflict. You really got some conflicts. Tell me then, what's your conflict? Does it hurt to share some profit, feed some kids, and stop the violence? Why be racist? Can't you see that this is wrong? I'm a person with a heart, that's all I know. Homophobic, don't you know you're not the one? Nobody wants you but your cat or but your mom.
Say. Nobody wants you but your cat or your mom.
Bars.
Hurt somebody.
That was
Bars.
like 37.
Yes. Snap, snap, snap.
That's what's up.
All right, tell the people where to find tell the people where to find you on the Insta, where to find you on all your
yes.
social media sites.
I have a SoundCloud now.
Yay!
Just look for TBear, or you can find me on Instagram at it's TBear. But don't forget to put the periods. It's period T period bear.
We need those distinctions.
Yeah, it's important.
Get it, sis.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Out here with
So
fire.
far, I have one song on SoundCloud right now. It's just the first draft of it, but I'm gonna put better quality stuff on there. I just wanted to start up my profile, put a track on there, and motivate me to keep doing.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Deli, you ready?
Yeah. Okay.
What you got for the people?
So, I feel like this is a free verse poem. I tried to convert it to a spoken word, and I think with art, it takes definitely some multiple revisions, I think, to get the best craft.
Yeah, for sure.
But I actually wrote this at IHOP. I was with my parents, and it's those moments when you get inspiration and you're just sitting waiting for your food.
Absolutely.
I think that's
when
what
creativity happens.
I think that's what makes poetry so special. Is that can happen anywhere, and it's very personal to you.
Shout out to IHOP for making Deli-Del. Bring us something special.
Bring the noise.
Yeah, House of Pancakes.
Don't go to Waffle House, though.
Oh.
I've never been, actually, to that.
No, you're good.
Yeah, stick with IHOP right across the street.
Oh. It's funny how the people you would think fill you up the most actually drain the most energy out of you. Your temper fluctuates like the Wild Thing roller coaster I once rode in the 8th grade. I've grown so accustomed to the sharp, jagged turns that the whiplash has become that familiar tune that is impossible to forget and unlikely to remove. I never realized how much we are the same until I looked within the labyrinth of my soul and saw you tangled inside the cobwebs of our anxiety-filled regrets and shame. I am yellow, and you are yellow too. We carry the capacity to beam our light and feed the ethereal garden that grows inside of us. So tell me why instead we appear as blue and fighting one another when we could be saving each other. Why are we left blinded and alone when we are close? Your high is my high, and your low is my low. We are a family that lives and thrives on opposite ends of the gendered spectrum. There exists no happy medium for a family who believes in feelings but struggles to express them. You stare as if I am a stranger sitting across from you. What if I am? Your dark brown eyes pierce within the 4x4 window of the physical barrier that hides my true self. You look, but you cannot see, because I know that what you expect to see is not there, and what you hope to see does not exist. I am sufficient, but I feel inadequate. I am beautiful, but I feel beastly. You shower me with your love, but it feels more like criticism. Trim your eyebrows, get your hair done, get your hair straightened, wear trendy clothes. You paint the town in your image, and I'm starting to feel as if I didn't make the cut and I never even belonged.
Okay, Deli.
Ooh.
Snap.
Moments with millennials. They bringing it today, man.
We're
We
moving
appreciate
it.
you guys.
We're
We hear a
moving
lot
it.
of, I hear a lot of hurt what you guys are experiencing as of late. And that just fuels me to fight even more
For
and
sure.
to try to blaze a path for you guys to not experience that by the time you're our age. So thanks for the fuel that you guys are giving us today, for sure, and all our listeners, because we
All
got
right.
responsibilities, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we got to get moving with you guys. So
Yeah.
keep us moving. So I promised, I said by the end of the month, I'll bless you guys with something, okay?
You brought it?
So I brought something. Warren, if you got some lines from the play that you just came out of, put a little thought to it. I might ask you to sing, Ricky. I might ask you to sing, Delcine. But we'll wrap the show up. So, Delcine, just like you, I think for all creatives, things just download at times that you're not ready, that you don't think about it, but you got to have your phone handy with your notes. And that's how this came to me one night after hearing about the young man who was shot 20 times in his backyard in Sacramento.
Yeah.
I was just inspired, just knowing that I have a young black son and thinking that this is what his future looks like. These are the things he'll have to worry about, being in your grandma's backyard. And so that is what fueled this, just some context about where this came from. So this poem is called "This Can't Be It for Us." So many black men would rather be burned, buzzed, or lit than to deal with the reality that their life doesn't matter. And there are continuous incidents across the United States that tells them that their life doesn't matter. But I'm just a young black mom trying to raise a young black man, trying to protect his life with everything that I am. And the black woman empowers from within because no blogs or magazines are talking about her, or because people question why she doesn't want to wear her hair flatter. But let me tell you why I'm here to tell you about her. Because we took care of the home when the military removed our men. Being mama and daddy, the job that never ends. Because our melanin is popping, but not snap crackle like, more like reflecting gold dust and absorbing light. We glow. And don't get us started on being able to reach a goal. The fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, you better act like you know. Doing it from sunup to sundown, not because we want to, but because we have a job to do. Lift our men up and tell them, I'm proud of you. Who else is going to do it? We're out here on our own. Your life matters and we're here for you. Orphans to a country that was never our home. Never built for us, never to shield. We got where we are on our own, on our very own will. Determined to be valued, determined to live life, determined to be recognized as man and wife, determined to be respected, determined to own our own, determined to hear from our allies, you are not alone. But our people are a strong one, resilience at its best. On Judgment Day, we'll be waiting patiently like, we know we did our best. We served, we endured, we prayed for 400 plus. Something has got to give because this can't be it for us. Snap.
Thank you.
So yeah, I wanted to honor National Poetry Month. I think that poetry is one of the greatest art forms. It's one of the greatest ways for people to be able to just let it all out, let it spill out, express yourself. And maybe some of the things that you're not able to say in your day-to-day interactions, maybe some of the things that you're not able to speak to your parents about, or that you don't feel you have a support group for. So keep being creative, you guys. You guys are amazing. And I'm so happy you joined us today. Warren, you got some dialogue.
I could try giving you a little monologue. It's been a minute since I actually did it. So
It's in you. I
might be a
believe
little
it.
rusty at it, but
It's inside.
I can do it. All right, let's see what I can start. The judges, my lady. And who are they? Vagrants? Riffraff picked up off the streets? Or perhaps free-willing entrepreneurs to whom truth and justice are a legitimate business, who are there to be bribed to be the tools of oppression? These are the first men of the country. Guaranteed independent. Too rich to need bribes, too powerful to fear monarchy. See?
That's okay. I'm feeling very much Carlton Banks vibes
Yeah,
going on
yeah.
here.
I think that's all I got.
Okay.
I can remember.
I felt the passion.
I like
Come
that.
back to me.
I caught you off guard today, so that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I appreciate you sharing, Deli. Ricky, you gonna sing for us? We'll turn the lights down for you. This is what we have to do to get Deli to sing.
I mean,
She
we
has
know-
a very angelic voice.
We know Billie Jean. We could just do that on
Billie
here.
Jean?
It's like our own version of it though.
Yes.
Like, we don't have our guitars, so it might sound whack. But
What do you need
I
us
feel
to
like
do? You
we're
need
both
us to
whack
snap?
people
You
in
need.
general. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I
We
want to
could-
hear
If
it.
you want to do that, we can do that.
Warren, you gotta dim that light a little bit. We gotta set the mood for Deli. Yep. Bring it down. Ricky, I'm glad
Cool,
you're
cool.
here because you can motivate her. Come on.
Cool.
DJ Deli-Del is red right now. She's kind of nervous. We put her on the spot. We didn't
Okay,
prepare
don't
her for
look at
this, but she's got this. We've heard her
She's
voice.
got it. Her
many
voice
a
is
times.
We
angelic.
got to get the room
Many a
temperature
times.
right now. We got to get it 5 degrees lower.
Okay, bring it down. Hit.
Just kidding. No.
Okay. Whatever you guys need.
Okay.
The world needs to hear it.
I love the lyrics. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
yeah.
get really nervous
No, go
singing in
for
front
it.
of people.
That's all right. We'll give you some time. I
While
like
we're
it.
waiting, since it was Poetry Month, I want to give a shout out to my inspiration. She's my aunt. She's a queer woman of color living in New York doing poetry, and she just decided that she wanted to do it, took some classes, and put her mind to it. And she released a book 2 months ago. It got sold out, and she's being
Yes.
featured in what's thought of as the first queer poets of color anthology.
What's her name?
Hey, Auntie.
Candace Williams.
Candace
So look her
Williams.
up. She's really dope.
She has a book now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a
Hey, Auntie Candy.
Yeah, she's
Shout
been,
out
like, a
to
big
you.
inspiration, so shout out to her.
Nice.
Are you
Are we ready for a
Yeah.
little Billie Jean?
Okay, cool. She was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene. I said, don't mind, but what do you mean? I am the one who will dance on the floor and around. She said, I am the one who will dance on the floor and around. Cool. It's usually way better when we have
My
guitars.
heart. You guys are so talented.
Nice. Nice.
I feel so fortunate to know you guys. Are just so proud, so proud. Bradley, you got some bits of positivity for the people today?
Every week,
Let's
I got
get it.
19 habits to live by. And some of you guys sound like you're already living by them, so that's great. Number 1, networking. Number 2, dream big. 3, plan ahead. 4, get up early. 5, stay focused. 6, watch less TV. 7, invest in yourself. 8, read more books. 9, avoid what I call time burglars. And these are people that waste your time.
Still
So
got
if they
time.
just like hit you up out of nowhere and just want to waste your time, avoid them in your habits of living. 10, take calculated risks. 11, write down your goals. 12, live on less than you make. That's important when it's time to start getting that paper, you know what I mean?
Saving chippers.
13, make your health a priority. 14, do work that matters to you. 15, learn from people you admire. 16, foster meaningful relationships. 17, cultivate an attitude of gratitude. I'm going to say that again. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Number 18, take action even when it's scary. And number 19, have a powerful and inspiring why.
Know your why, one of the most important things. And I'll say that the whole take action even when it's scary, you guys are all doing that. You guys are all moving your generation forward, and I appreciate that. Kudos to you guys. So 19 habits to live by, you guys. Take it and run with it. We got some listener shout outs. So we got some new listeners. Palm Bay, Florida. We had a few listeners in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey,
in the
Vegas, I'm
past
coming to
week.
see you in June.
Be ready.
Be ready.
Have the bed ready. Fort Worth, Texas. And of course, Menlo Park, and our Ireland listener is holding it
Oh,
down.
snap. Ireland.
Shout out Menlo Park.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
So thank you to all of our millennials who joined us today. Warren, Delcine, Tanai, Ricky. We appreciate you guys, and you guys are continue to move this nation forward. We got your back, all right?
Thank you.
All right. Episode 14, it's a wrap. We'll catch you guys next week.